We're going to mount the new Frontier front end replacement on the 2011 and 2014 GMC 2500, 3500 truck. And we will show you the steps you need to take to mount it on your truck. First, you got to take this plastic off the front of the truck. The front end will replace that. In order to do that, you've got a series of 2 bolts right there, which I believe are 7mm bolts. You need to take those 2 7mm bolts out. Got one there. And one there. Then you need to go to the other side and do the same thing to the other side. Now we are going to remove that plastic. Now that we've removed those, there is some little pegs here too that you need to, you don't have to do right now, but we're going to get them out of the way. Take a screwdriver, get underneath them. Now to remove the plastic, it's got a little series of little pegs in there that you got to work out as you go. You got to get one person underneath and then push them little clips down to remove that. Or maybe I can do it here. Okay. Take your time, work around it. It's plastic. It can break if you do it too rough. I'm going to go to the other fender and do the same thing. There we go. Okay, now that piece has been removed. We're going to remove this piece of plastic right here on the corner of the bumper, and that will help get to the frame, the brackets that's going to take the chrome bumper off.
I've been cutting out that audio.
Okay, once those 4 bolts are removed, you take that plastic off of there, and now you can get to the side brackets that are bolted to the chrome bumper. It's going to be 2 15mm up here on that side brace that we need to take off. Loosen one more bolt on the other end of that arm, just so that arm can swing down and get out of the way when you drop the rear bumper. There you go, just enough so it comes down and gets out of your way. While you're down here, reach up and unplug. If your truck is equipped with fog lights, you need to unplug the wire off of your fog light. And then you can just let the wire hang right there. Once you've done that, you just need to go to the other side and do the same thing. Now we're going to come to the side, and there's 2 more, or 1 more on each side that needs to be released, okay? And just do the same thing to the other side. Up on top, you need to take all these little pegs out. When they're down like that, you're going to take that screwdriver and pop that little peg up. And then get the screwdriver under it, and they'll come out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them to take out. Once you've taken them out, then we will get to the frame bolts. To remove the chrome bumper now, there is a bolt, vertical bolt, as you can see right there, that you need to get out. I am going to do it a different way because I've got lots of extensions. You can get a ratchet in there and take that out, or if you've got a bunch of extensions, you can take it out from after you remove that black plastic cover. you can go down there and get that out. Either way works, but this is a little faster. And just do the same thing the other side. Okay, we are removing the chrome bumper now. We are going to come over here and lay it down on the piece of cardboard. That way it doesn't get scratched, because here in a little bit we'll have to remove the fog lights out of the chrome bumper to put in your front bumper replacement. These little plastic covers right here do have to come off. There's going to be 2 bolts straight in and then 2 bolts from straight up. So you need to remove those. Once again, go to the other side and do the same thing to the other side. Now we're going to remove the fog light, if your truck has them. Not all of them have them. And we're going to put it in your new Frontier front end replacement. I'm using a 10mm that helps remove the clips, suppress the clips, which I'll show. Those little clips right there is what holds it in the plastic. When you put that 10mm on there, it suppresses them, and then you can take the light out. We're going to go to the front end now and replace this light into the front end. You want to keep the same side from the factory bumper to the front end replacement. We're going to put this fog light in the front end now. Sometimes in shipment and other things, sometimes these ears can get bent. So maybe you need to move them just a little bit. Of course, I moved it the wrong direction. You just got to get them lined up. In your bolt kit, you're going to have 3/8 washers. They take place of the plastic that holds it in the factory bumper. You're going to put them on there just like that. Just make sure your ears clip down on the washers. And that right there secures your light. And then just go to the other side and do it again. We are now going to mount the brackets onto the frame. As you notice, you got opposite brackets, so you don't get them mixed up. The plate that's on the outside of the brackets can go to the outside of the vehicle, and the hole will also be offset to the outside of the bracket. They'll be facing the outside of the truck. Okay? The factory bolt will be replaced. The hole slotted up there. So when you put it in there, find the happy medium right where the middle of the hole is going to be. In your bolt bag, you're going to have a washer, lock washer, and nut, which needs to all need to be put on there. On your factory bumper, the nut was attached to the bracket that is now not there. That's why we have to use the nut supplied. We're not going to completely tighten this bracket. We're just going to snug it for right now. When we put the front end up there, this bracket could possibly have to be pivoted like that in order to line it up to the front end. Once we've done that, we're going to get an 18mm. The nut that we supply was a 22. This up here was the 21. Now we're going to put an 18 socket, and we are going to take the nut off of the side bolt to your tow hook. That is where the bottom leg, you'll see in a minute, to your front end replacement is going to mount to right there. And the plate that is welded on what we call the upright is going to mount to here. There's 2 bolting points on this front end on each side. When you get through on this side, return to the other side and do the same thing. On the driver's side, that tow hook bolt is correct direction. On the passenger side, you're going to need to take that bolt out and put it from the other side in. And we're going to just have the bolt pulled out enough, because in a minute that bracket's going to go on the outside of the frames on the truck. So now we're going to go to the front end and get it over here and show you how to put it on. We are now ready to put the front end on the truck. We're going to have a guy on each side to lift it up on there. I'm going to be underneath to get the bolts on. This part of the front end right here, you can see the slotted hole, is going to go down to the bottom bolt on your tow hook that we took the nut off of. Okay, just have it just inside the frame. It's going to slide on the outside right there. This shoe, what we call a shoe mounting bracket right there, it's got a hole in there which is going to marry up to this hole right here. Okay, so the guys are going to lift it up there real quick. Again, a 1/2 by 1 3/4 inch bolt is going to secure this bracket to this bracket. The bottom tow hook is going to bolt is going to secure the bottom leg on the front end. So now we are going to put it up on the truck. Okay, they're going to lift it up on the truck. Have one person underneath. The bottom brackets go to the tow hook first. Is what I'm going to put on first. It's kind of easy to slide that bolt back in. I'm going to go to the other side and get that tow hook bolt put in. Try to relieve a little pressure. What I'm going to do now is take a tape measure and go on the side of the truck. And you want to make sure you're measuring the same spot from side to side, and make sure your front end replacement is true from side to side on your truck. On this front end, do the same thing this side and just get them the same. On this front end, we're going to lift up right now. We got a jack under to help support things. We're just picking the driver's side because that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to lift it as high as it'll go, and we're going to get up underneath there and tighten both points that we talked about on the front end replacement. And then we're going to go to the other side and make sure that our height is the same from side to side. You also want to stand back and eyeball your loops with your headlights and all that, and make sure everything looks good up and down, side to side. Okay, so from side to side you can measure your loops to your fenders. Now we're going to tighten bolts up and make sure both sides are the same. Now that we've gotten the front end all bolted on, make sure, like we discussed, it was right height wise from side to side. We stand back right in the center and make sure the top bars line up with the corner of the fender wells on each side, and you stand back to make sure that they're the same. That way you know your front end's height is right. We measured here, made sure our measurement was right. We got it from side to side. One thing we did have to do, we have seen that all trucks are just a little different sometimes on that frame cap. This was a little bit down. The two vertical bolts on the side of the frame that held the bracket that we mounted the top bolt to, we loosened them and had to pivot just slightly to the front. And it's very common that you have to do that on Chevy and GMCs from truck to truck. Right here on the side, we are going to, there's a little hole on the side of the end cap. We call the end cap. There's a little 1/4 inch hole right here. The plastic goes inside there, and we're going to drill a little hole from there to the plastic fender well. And we're going to put a 1/4 inch bolt in there that's applied with your kit. Okay? We're going to do that on both sides. That holds that plastic from flopping around. When you get done doing that, we're going to come back up here and we remove that to get down to your top bumper bolt. And we're going to put those series of little plastic clips back in here to secure your plastic back up underneath your hood. On the side fender well right here, it's going to hang down lower than your front end replacement. It's strictly up to the individual. This piece, if you ever put your chrome bumper back on, your plastic will bolt to that right there. But if you do not like that hanging down, you can cut it with the razor blade. What I've done is taken a level and gotten it level and scribed a line across there, and then I have cut on that line right there. On the other side, we have done that because that's what we're going to do on this vehicle. And just to show you, you can see what it's going to look like if you cut it and make a level line across on there. So it's strictly up to the individual what they want to do. If you do it, you cannot mount your chrome bumper back to your, or your plastic back to there in the chrome bumper. Up to each person. There, you need to make sure that all bolts that you have messed with are tight, including the vertical bolt up underneath there, the big long vertical bolt that we said to snug before you put the front end on, because that helps you rotate them brackets a little bit to make sure they're all lined up when you put the front end up there and you don't have to fight beating them over because they're too tight. All bolts that you have messed with, make sure one last time that they're all tight when you before you drive off with your truck. You're going to see two bolt holes right here in the very front. That is where your license plate's going to go. Okay. Once you get your license plate done and all bolts are tight, make sure your fog lights are plugged back in. If your truck came with them, not all trucks do. It's a package deal. And then after that, you are done installing your 2011 to 14 2500 3500 GMC front end. And I hope you enjoy your new Frontier truck here front end.